I wasn't a fan of Goblin helicopters. Have I changed my mind? Well, this is a longer story. I got curious by this helicopter, how these models became so popular for so many years. Do they deserve the fame? Let's get back to the beginning. I was far from buying any SAB models simply because I thought they are not my style. A bit like the iPhone. I have never had one. I'm a geeky Android guy. But last year at Full Pitch Fun Fly, this happened.
So the last prize, electric Goblin 700 Black Thunder, courtesy of SAB. Ready? Blue. Mate, it's agonisingly slow.
Actually easier.
2. 6. 5. It's the youngster! Ladies and gentlemen! Very nice! Adam and partners will be chasing you out the field. That's what it's all about. Lovely stuff. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
I know, I could have sold the kit and bought a different brand. Then this story would have ended here. Just, I decided differently. I wanted to know how it feels to build and to have one of the most iconic RC helicopters of the last 15 years. Can she change my relation to these SAB models? Or SAB? I still don't know which one is the correct one. The answer is yes. She could change it to a certain extent. For many years, especially in the country I came from, there were two groups, SAB pilots and all others. And there was an unspoken gap between them. One side thought they had the most modern, best performing helicopters, and they were members of a sort of elite club. The other side considered this a bit snobbish, and flying these really expensive models was just stupid. A little bit like the never-ending iPhone-Android argument. SAB was the iPhone of RC helicopters. Steve Jobs simply threw the then existing concept of the mobile phone into the bin and reinvented the mobile communication, creating an undeniable revolution. SAB has done the same, just with RC helicopters. When the tail support was a thing, the massive main gear was a must-have at almost all models, and all RC helicopters looked almost the same. Enrico Bernabe at SAB reinvented the RC helicopter from almost the basics. In 2012, they've created this. And 4 years later, the SAB Goblin 700 Black Thunder. These helis were UFOs among RC helis. A weird shape, no massive main gear, almost fully covered body, weird looking things here which barely can be called landing skids. A massive tail boom, completely alien. And crazy expensive. Consequently, for an average RC heli flyer, especially in East Europe, back then, this was like a Ferrari, utterly unreachable, rich kid toys. Even though they are unquestionably nice and interesting. The traditional RC helicopter design, the open canopy, the massive main gear produce a massive drag. And the landing skids just add on. This alien-like design reduces the drag so much that the flying performance improves massively even if the motor, the battery and the ESC remain the same as in a similar size model. You believe or not, this drag problem solution just surfaced again recently in the full-scale helicopter world. The helicopter almost completely belt-driven, including the motor, which is supposed to be quieter. Come on SAB, this is a 700 size helicopter, how can she be quiet? This helicopter sounds different from many other models, but I wouldn't call her quiet. This is just not a thing in the 700 class.
CNC parts, side frames, the canopy, long parts like the tail boom, the tail push rod, and the blades. And this one, this little box is for everything else. Million pieces, bolts, nuts, washers, shims, even bearings and springs. Despite that I've built many other brands before, I'm not joking, I was terrified.
But the manual is very well detailed. In fact, the most detailed manuals I've ever seen all came from SAB. Because of other brands, I was prepared manuals must be outsmarted sometimes, because this doesn't make any sense at all. There are 4 columns here. 4 columns here. But only 3 screws are here. But I was wrong. There are no errors in the manual. And even if it seems wrong, a few steps later, aha! So this is why there were only 3 screws. I just had to follow all steps exactly how they were. Unlike at other brands, almost nothing is pre-assembled. I can't tell you how awful it is to see how many parts get in the heli, but at the end, everything is just done with no significant problems. Should I call it perfect?
SAB have always been selling only kits, whilst the largest competitor company aligned their models to the whole RC helicopter market. They have been shipping their models in various packaging kits and various combos with electronic components required for the model. Some combos include almost everything you need: servos, motor, ESC, even the flybarless unit. Some models were and are available even in ARTF, almost ready to fly edition. So the big rival became the most successful and most popular company in the early 2010s. SAB's strategy was going against the tide. Only kits were sold. How the message could be interpreted? We are for the pro pilots. We are the competition brand. And shortly, half of the non-pilots were flying SAB models, were on Team SAB.
Ezt a részét én is utálom.
It is. So, the Goblin. So it feels simply just perfect. It's the word I would use is the smooth, but there is no better word to describe how the heli feels. And to be honest, the heli knows much more what my fingers and my slightly aged reaction time can do with this helicopter. This helicopter is still a beautiful, powerful performance machine. Okay, I'm gonna land now. Am I? No, I'm gonna test something. The only problem with the heli, I so got used to the conventional helicopter loop. It takes time to understand what I see in the air because this is still a bit like a UFO. But it's amazing. I can't describe it better. Might be the tail gain is a bit high, is it?
Nem tudom, én nem repültem vele, úgyhogy nem tudom, innen egy talán egy picit lejjebb lenni.
Yeah. How much time did I fly?
I don't know.
It's on the transmitter.
Megvan az idő.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna bring it back. Yeah, I love her. It's a fantastic, beautiful, still an amazing machine.
By 2017-2018, the majority of the RC helicopters were SAB models at any events. Are they that good?
Well, Italians are very good at making things. Argument, pasta, stylish supercars like Ferrari, Lamborghini, Pagani. And this Italian helicopter is not an exception either. However, as I heard from my car mechanic pals, Italians are not so good at making things mechanic friendly. Fortunately, the maintenance of this helicopter is very easy. Everything can be reached quickly. For example, when I want to adjust this servo here, I just... okay. I just have to remove this. Yeah. This. What else? This. Come on. Come on. Oh, I can't believe this. So I have to remove this. This. Yep. There is no way I can put an Allen key there. Yeah. Oops. Okay. This. And this. Ah. Ow. Oh, I need a coffee.
I had a problem with the bed tensioner. More closely with this spring. It kept popping out, but the end bit is too short to bend it. So far, a drop of AB glue keeps it in its place. To be fair, most of the maintenance or repair tasks are indeed simple. For example, putting up the tail boom is as difficult as pissing up a common fighter under any Facebook posts. Not at all. There are two nylon bolts and these two screws hold the boom in place. Even the wiring is well designed and instructed, and it's far from being a brain surgery. As I got more and more experience with this helicopter, it got clear why this model was so popular. Not just because this helicopter looks awesome, but it feels in every bit this helicopter is designed to perform and compete. These SAB models are the beasts of San Mauro Pascoli. And this Goblin here is even more special. The Black Thunder dates back to 2016, but this series was released in 2023 as the Iconic Edition. Only 50 were produced. This is the 43rd. There are two differences between this helicopter and the original series. The serial number is engraved into the main plate, and a special badge came with the helicopter. The canopy holder is gone. SAB is manufacturing these spare parts, so in theory, even a crash shouldn't be a problem. In theory.
It turns out not everything is available. Fortunately, Tonchi crashed her Excel Power Spectre 700 V2 recently, and one front canopy holder survived the crash. One long set screw from the aligned Tareq 700 hardware pack, and this canopy holder should do. The ball is a little bit smaller. It should do until I find an original one somewhere. Oh, almost perfect. Yep, exactly. This holds pretty well. Excel Power SAB Corporation.
These kits are not cheap. For example, the SAB Goblin 700 Black Thunder Iconic Edition was £1,000 in the UK. And this is only the airframe and the blades. No electronics included. Indeed, this is a limited edition. An average 700 size kit at any brands costs roughly £700–900 nowadays. And even the SAB models fall into this range. Again, without electronics. The motor, ESC servos, FBL and so on can be £1,500 on top of the kit price. I completed this model much cheaper, but that story belongs to another video. For example, the servos, the X-Cube servos, is a story on its own.
Have I changed my opinion about SAB models? Definitely. I appreciate the work and the effort in all pieces. And I don't think so these models are unnecessary luxury models.
Thanks to the manual and the talk for packaging, building is very straightforward and really satisfying. Flying this is even more satisfying and extraordinary. I still don't think this model would be the best choice for practicing. I would cry if I crashed it in a new maneuver. She is much more for a public presence, if you like that way, to show off. But this show off is not because of the model family, much more because this is a limited edition. Back to her times, yes, this was no different by any means from any other models. Might be a crash was more costly, but in return the flying performance, especially compared to the counterparts back then, is memorable. Don't get me wrong, I don't think other models would be less. They are just different. If you never tried to fly an SAB model, you must try one. And now I really want to know how a current Goblin compares to the current counterparts. Are they snobbish? A little bit. Especially the older models up to the Kraken, but in a good manner. The current SAB line mixes this style with the Kraftwerk-like appearance of other models with a pretty good balance. And they are by no means of the generic model line. Prices are not extreme, they are less UFOs if they are at all. Still slightly different in concept, but much closer to the current counterparts. And unlike many other models, there is a compatibility to a certain extent between SAB models and model generations. This is how the SAB Mavroken helicopter was born. What others think about the SAB models? We talked through the raw with István in this video. Thank you for dropping in, and see you in the next one.